Okay, partly because I want to get a verbal record of some of my prose instead of written form. I'm also trying to generate some interest in some of my earlier blog posts, but the one in particular that I'm talking about today comes from April 11th, 2016, and it's called Children of Jehovah, Prose. And I'm going to read it as I wrote the blog, and I will be looking at the screen because I haven't memorized this. But anyway, this follows, and I'm going to post it in a link to it in the recovery group, and hopefully it helps people. This is what I wrote. This is something I wrote about 10 years ago. It was written in an effort to try and capture the fear and resentment I had growing up as a Jehovah's Witness. Being able to put these feelings into words was a big step for me because I was raised to have the utmost respect for God's theocratic organization and not to bring reproach on Jehovah's name. To write something this caustic without fear of reprisal helped me overcome some of the indoctrination that I endured while at JW. This prose, as angry as it is, helped me purge. If anyone else has had experience with this, I hope that what I share today helps you in some way. Children of Jehovah. They said Armageddon, the war of the great day of God the Almighty. Full-color illustrations, bookended by scripture, dropped into our brain like some arsenic Alka-Seltzer, which fizzed and spread and infected our psyche, unleashing a torrent of images, rotting tongues, clawed faces, stacks of decaying corpses, spiraling into the black dawn of a mushroom cloud. They were pushers, charlatans, peddling their wares from a pulpit no more holy than a turnip truck, sucking up adulation from dumbstruck cattle, beaten into submission with the cudgel of fear. By use of some crude alchemy, they morphed persecution into pride, and with that pitiful armor, they thrust us into the world to be ripped to pieces by monsters who were just being kids. They held our eyes open and force-fed us their doctrine, so we'd arm ourselves with the watchtower and suicide bomb our neighbors' homes like little god terrorists ruining people's mornings. And everywhere there was threat. If worldly people didn't corrupt us, then demons would stalk us in our beds, and every mouth not there spewed nothing but Satan. Our prayers were not for love, they were for fear, pleading not to be taken when the great tribulation broke out. But isn't it so nice that there is no fiery hell? Small comfort when the alternative is nothing forever and ever and ever. For we knew we were damned. We were damned because we couldn't keep our hands to ourselves or from ourselves. We were damned because we balked or lied or cheated or said an unkind word. We couldn't even trust our own minds. Our entire life was like negotiating a minefield where one false step would end in ruin. Our every thought filtered through the collective, for the individual was doomed. We couldn't even save ourselves, but we spent our youth trying to save others, strangers. And when we dared question, when we decided to walk away, we became the strangers. Thanks.